Okay, so today is going to be a review of the topics we have covered thus far. And then you'll do some review problems today. So we will begin, so it's a review day. We will begin with the first topic that we discussed, solving linear equations. Okay, and we will do an example from this section. So in the directions, the example would say solve. So that is what we're going to do. And the problem I propose is 15x equals negative 4 times x minus 3 plus 7. 15x equals negative 4 times x minus 3 plus 7. To begin, we need to take the negative 4 and distribute it so that we get rid of these parentheses. Now, when you distribute, you are doing multiplication. 2 times negative 4 times x and negative 4 times negative 3. 2 multiplications. So what happens? The 15x comes down, equal sign comes down, and now we multiply. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12, and the positive 7 comes down. Now, before we move on to combining the x's, I see plus 12 plus 7 on the same side of the equal sign. Let's add those together. So 15x stays the same, the equal stays the same, minus 4x comes down, and positive 12 plus 7 is positive 19. Now let's go ahead, draw our line down the equal sign, and let's move some things around. Let's combine these x's. They are on opposite sides of the equal sign. You cannot magically combine them. You have to move one of them. Let's move the 4x over here. To move it, we have to do the opposite of it. This is a minus 4x. Let's add 4x to both sides. Right? If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. So what do we get? 15x plus 4x is 19x. On this side, the 4x's cancel, and we bring down the 19. So then this is 19 times x. We want to get rid of the 19. It's multiplying, so we divide by 19. The 19's over here cancel. X equals, and then 19 divided by 19, we should know that anything divided by itself is 1. So the answer to this question is x equals 1. Solving a linear equation. Alright, so the next topic we discussed was rewriting algebraic equations. That was the next topic, rewriting algebraic equations. Alright, so the example is here. Solve for y. Then find y by substituting for x. So the example, solve for y, then find y by substituting for x. And here is the equation we will work with. Negative 6x plus 4y equals negative 44. And the x value that we'll work with later is a negative 2. All right. First thing, solve for y. Okay, let's draw this line. Ignore this x value. We must get the y alone. So the first thing we should do is add 6x. Get the 6x out of there. If I do it on the left side, I have to do it on the right side. The 6x's cancel. So the 4y comes down. So we crossed off the minus 6x. The 4y comes down. And over here, the minus 44 and the plus 6x do not combine because 44 does not have an x. I would like the x term to come first. Positive 6x minus 44. Next, get y alone. It is 4 times y, so divide by 4 to get the 4 away. If I do it on the left side, I need to do it on the right side. The 4's cancel. Y equals. On the right side, we are going to do 2 divisions. 6x divided by 4 and negative 44 divided by 4. So what happens? 6 divided by 4. You need to be able to simplify fractions. All right? You can divide each of them by a 2. Or pull a 2 out. So this is going to be 3 over 2. The x comes after. Okay? This is going to go here. 3 halves x. Okay, over here, negative 44 divided by 4, that is just negative 11 if you divide. The minus 11 comes here. And there is the equation solved for y. So that's part 1. Now part 2 says, then find y by substituting for x. So we need to take our new equation, and in place of x, we're going to put its value. Remember, x is negative 2. When you do this, 3 halves times negative 2, you can cancel out the 2's and make them become 1's. So we have 3 over 1 times negative 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. The calculator will do this for you as well. 3 halves times negative 2. But you'll get negative 3. Minus 11 comes. Negative 3 minus 11 is negative 14. So I want the answer as a point. X, y. X was negative 2 and y was negative 14. There is the solution to the second part. Okay, let's go on to the third type of question. The third type of question we talked about was evaluating functions. Evaluating functions. So in the example, it's going to say evaluate. And here is the function we will be evaluating. G of x equals negative 1 half x squared plus 3. And the x value we're looking at is negative 2. X equals negative 2. So we're going to take the x value and plug it in wherever we see an x. This is the x value. Plug it in once, twice. So when we plug it in, g of negative 2 equals negative 1 half times negative 2 squared plus 3. So all that changed were the x's became negative 2's. Alright, so this side stays the same as g of negative 2. Over here, we need to square the negative 2 first. So it's negative 1/2 times, and when you square negative 2, you get positive 4. Notice that it's times, right? A number next to a parenthesis is times, but you have to square the negative 2 first. You have to follow order of operations. So negative half times 4. That's negative, and what's half of 4? 2. And negative 2 plus 3 is positive 1. So your two answers for this problem are g of negative 2 equals 1, or I want the point, negative 2, 1. And that's how we evaluate functions. That was the third type of problem we talked about. Okay, one more type of problem before we start doing our review problems. The fourth type of problem we did was finding slope. Slope was our next topic. In the example, it'll say find the slope. Find the slope. And I'm going to do two examples for this one. The first example has the points negative 2, 1, and 6, 5. So first thing is we need to write the formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then we label the points x1, y1, x2, y2. Now we plug in the number with the corresponding variable. y2 is 5 minus y1 is 1. x2 is 6 minus x1, which is a negative 2. 5 minus 1 is 4 on the top. On the bottom, we need to do this plus, plus, turns into 6 plus 2, which is 8. And if we reduce 4 over 8, we can divide each by 4. There's a 4 goes into both. We get a half. And there's the slope that we want, 1/2. Alright, second example here. Let's take a look at these 2 points. Negative 3, 5, and negative 3, negative 4. We will attack the problem in the same way. We will find the slope. I will write the slope formula. You don't have to write the slope formula. Let's just label the points. x1, y1, x2, y2. The slope formula is right here, right? So let's just think. y2, what's y2? y2 is negative 4. Minus, what's y1? y1 is 5. All over. x2, x2 is negative 3. Minus, what's x1? x1 is also negative 3. Negative 4 minus 5 is negative 9. Over here, we got to do the plus plus. So now it becomes negative 3 plus 3. Negative 3 plus 3, that's 0. Uh-oh. We got a 0 involved in our slope. So it's either going to be an answer of 0 or undefined. When the 0 is on the bottom, the answer is undefined. So this is undefined. So you answer with the answer undefined. And I also want, remember when I said undefined, I want to know what special kind of line it is. It's vertical. Okay, so hopefully this jogged your memory and we can begin doing some review problems today. All right, thanks for watching.